Hey everyone, welcome back to another Pioneer video. I know it's been a little while since I posted the last one, but the last few weeks have been pretty busy from my perspective. I came down to Portland to cast the DGen Open, which was an Explorer tournament with Ali Eldrazi and MTG Nerd Girl a couple weeks ago, and the last weekend was 4th of July, and those weekends are usually when I do my recording, so I apologize for not being around, but we are back, and we are back with a vengeance. And not only are we back with a vengeance, we're back with a plan and a goal. So in a few weeks, I'm going to be playing in a Pioneer 5K in Seattle. The Puget Sound Showdown, I think is what it's called. And I'm also going to be in the Pioneer seat for a trios event in that tournament as well. So I think it's high time that I get my both feet in the water and really get underneath the Pioneer format. And what I did when Alchemy was new was I looked at the top like 10 decks in that format and just played through them all on my channel. Those videos didn't have the longevity that I hoped they would, just because Alchemy shifted underneath me in the meantime, so those videos are not super useful anymore. But I'm thinking of doing the same thing with Pioneer and just playing through every top tier meta deck. And Frank Karsten posted an article on ChannelFireball.com with a list of what he thought were the top decks in the meta. And number one among them was the deck you see in front of you right now, Mono Green Devotion. It's the deck that really embarrassed my blue-white control a little while ago in the DGen Pioneer supporter event. It's really, really effective at getting planeswalkers and sticky threats in play early. So you have 8 mana dorks as an option on turn 1. Elvish Mystic and Llanowar Elves are effectively the same. You have turn 2, you have 6 different options about ramp options. Old Growth Troll is a threat that if you play it and the opponent kills it, then it ramps you as well. It also triggers Kiora. So Kiora is ramp herself, but also plays really well in this deck because you have Cavaliers of Thorns, you have Old Growth Trolls, both of which trigger the Kiora when they come into play. As well as Pelucranos, which is the board wipe of choice in mono green, which isn't saying all that much. It's a super expensive way to clear the board, but in case you haven't seen this card, it's 4 mana for a 5/5, and it has Monstrosity X for XX and a green. When it becomes monstrous, you can deal X damage as you choose among any number of opponent's creatures, and then they fight back. So you can use it as a one-sided board wipe. It's pretty situational. Truth be told, I haven't been super impressed with the card, but Karsten put it in his list, and so will I. One copy of Nissa, which is the Frank Karsten calling card, the one-ofs. His aggregated deck lists typically feature these. Nissa, not super great in a format that has a lot of Izzet in it that can attack her down in the air. The lands don't do a great job of protecting her. And you just do such a good job with your early ramp cards, especially the hexproof and the land enchantment ones that dodge removal pretty well, that you don't really need her for the mana. Storm the Festival has obviously all these great hits. You don't need to say too much about that. And you have 4 copies of Nykthos that ramp you as well. When you have these huge green devotion creatures, Nykthos produces a ton of mana in a manner that's pretty difficult for the opponent to deal with. So over in the sideboard, if you're getting into Pioneer for the first time, this deck is pretty good, I would say, because it's just big, powerful threats. It's easy to play well. It's hard to play perfectly. And the power level alone will probably get you some wins. But also, sideboarding is a skill that's pretty hard to learn in a format that you don't fully understand yet. And this deck doesn't require a whole lot of sideboarding because there's a ton of one-ofs to be fetched with Karn. So obviously, all of our artifacts here are basically a toolbox to deal with situations that we might run into. And there's only 4 cards that are not artifacts to be fetched with Karn. We have 2 copies of Skylasher. It's a 2/2 flash for 2 with reach, and more importantly, can't be countered and is pro-blue. So a lot of the blue-white control decks in the format have a difficult time dealing with this card. Both because of the flash element and the pro-blue element, and 2 copies of Voracious Hydra as well, making big dumb idiots that the opponent can't interact with if they're in red, or to be able to fight Ledger Shredders, Runaway Steamkins, important creatures for the opponent's side of the board. Pretty good in the mono red matchup as well. So one of the only gotchas in the deck, or one of the only interesting things about the sideboard itself, is the inclusion of Pestilent Cauldron, and this took me a while to understand. Apparently there is a combo with Pestilent Cauldron, Karn, Nykthos, and Kiora. It turns out that you can keep, once you have enough devotion with Nykthos and and Kiora, you can, and I'm not going to go through the math for you guys, you can keep recasting Pestilent Cauldron, getting with the Chain Veil. You can activate Karn several times a turn, keep replaying new instances of those Planeswalkers over and over again, play the Pestilent Cauldron over and over, and eventually mill the opponent out. That is not a combo that I fully understand. It's not one that comes up in this video. Spoiler alert, this is Airball from the future. I already know how this video goes, but if you're interested in that combo, go check it out and go learn it yourself, because I'm sure you're better Magic players than I am and are more responsible and learn what the deck does before you hop into matches with it. But speaking of hopping into matches, that's all I have to say about this deck list. Let's jump into the games and see how we did. Okay, on the draw with a one-lander, any other one-lander, maybe we'd be able to keep it, but only making colorless mana on one, not really acceptable here. Gonna have to throw this away. And this is better. We have 2 Oaths of Nissa, which are mystery boxes. We have Karn, which is also a mystery box. We're gonna keep this. Sounds like our opponent also mulled. What are we putting back? So against Thoughtseize decks, keeping the second Karn is kind of nice. I think I'm kind of into pitching an Oath of Nissa, just because we're likely to find a 2 or 3 mana play to fill in the gap here, and then I want the second Karn just as protection against Thoughtseize, since I don't know what we're up against. Send back one of the Oaths. Spirebluff Canal, go. Okay, so we did find a 2 mana play. That's great. It's one that increases our devotion for Nykthos as well. So Oath of Nissa resolves, and we find not much. We find another card. All right. I don't think it matters what order we put things on the bottom of the library in. We'll say go. Opponent did nothing on our turn. Steam Vents tapped, go. Okay. We untap, find more land, sure. Don't want to put the Nykthos in play quite yet, because I don't want to put the Wolfwillow Haven on it, although maybe that's correct. Maybe I should be playing the Wolfwillow Haven on the Nykthos, since we are going to untap it and tap it over and over again. But you live and learn. Opponent untaps. So far, opponent has done nothing in the first 2 turns of the game, which is kind of exactly where we want to be. Steam Vents shocked in this time for piece of the puzzle. So opponent is probably going to find a few Arclight Phoenixes here, if I had to guess. Let's have a look in their graveyard. Opponent puts a Crackling Drake and 2 more copies of Pieces of the Puzzle in the graveyard, and in their hand go Fiery Impulse and Flame Blessed Bolt. Okay. So I think this Drake and these pieces of the puzzle are in the bin. Okay, cool. So opponent's tapped out. Good as time as any to resolve Karn, and I think just grab Tormod's Crypt. Yep, that seems good to me. Sure. We will indeed use the ability, and let's go ahead and fetch Crypt. Play Crypt. I said play Crypt. There we go. And is there a reason to do this now? I don't think so. We'll just say go. Opponent aims a Flame Blessed Bolt at Karn. We are okay with this. Not that there's much we can do about it. So now we are in... We're getting close to Treasure Cruise territory here. But I think we're okay for now. Gotta look up the mana cost for Treasure Cruise. Let's see. So I know when I have to crack the Tormod's Crypt. The next time something goes on the stack, basically. is when we need to crack this crypt. Okay. So Nissa, of course, is quite good, to the surprise of no one. Is Nissa better than just playing another Karn? We know that the opponent has a Fiery Impulse in hand, and that will be able to kill our land if we just play the Nissa here. So maybe we're supposed to pump the brakes and go a little slow, play another Karn. I think that's right. Karn activates, and we get probably just Godpharaoh statue against the cantrip deck. That seems really good to me. Yeah, let's grab that. And I think we'll pass. Oh no, 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 no. Don't. Stop. Shit. They cast Treasure Cruise here. I didn't mean to. I wanted to crack the Tormod's Crypt on my end step. But I auto-passed, and it looks like we're about to get severely punished. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That sucks. That is a casualty of the Moto interface. I tried to prevent the auto pass from happening, but here we are. Still think we're in pretty good shape. Yeah, so good shape, and the opponent agrees. Godpharaoh statue is a pretty tough one for the cantrip deck to beat, of course. And we're off to sideboarding. The nice thing about sideboarding here is that you don't need to do very much of it. So we have these two Skylashers that we can bring in. Uncounterable Pro Blue seems pretty good against Ledger Shredder kind of stuff. Voracious Hydra seems okay. I feel like I'm not super into this Pelucranos. And kind of want to keep all of the cheap creatures, although they do have, like, Flame Blessed Bolts, Spikefield Hazards, which make the Mana Dorks a little bit worse. So maybe I want to shave some number of the early Mana Dorks. These are essentially equivalent. They're basically the same card. Yeah, I'll trim one Mana Dork, I guess. Karn is just so good against them. Fetching Tormod's Crypt. Maybe it's Kiora that should go, actually. Easily counterable. It's the only thing in the deck that gets hit by Mystical Dispute, although they probably won't bring in Dispute against Mono Green. Okay, let's just try this. Okay, on the draw here with pretty reasonable opening hand. We can keep this. We don't have a Mana Dork until turn 2, but I think that's okay-ish. Spire Bluff Canal, go. Find Llanowar Elves. We can play the Llanowar Elves into a removal spell, or we can play Oath of Nissa. If they don't have a removal spell, then the Llanowar Elf payoff is super high. And next turn the play is going to be Caryatid anyway. So Elves gives us a chance to cast both Oath and Elves, but Oath of Nissa doesn't give us the opportunity to cast Elves in the future. So I think we just play this now. And say go. Okay, so it's only consider on our end step. When it pitches a Hall of the Storm Giants off the top of their library with that. Hopefully it's not my internet that's down. My internet has been kind of unreliable lately. But I think the fact that their timer is going does mean that it's their play and that it's not my internet crapping out. But I'm not sure what they're thinking about. What do you think they could be thinking about on turn 2 here? Maybe it gives us some insight into their hand. Like, what order to play their lands in, whether it's worth shocking in Esteem Vents. They've decided that it is. And Lava Coil on the elves, so they decided to bolt the bird, after all. That's fine. So we have the option here of Mystic plus Oath or Caryatid. Caryatid basically guarantees that we're going to be able to play Karn next turn, if we want. And I think that's kind of what I'm all about here. Mystic plus Oath doesn't really progress the board all that much, and it's likely that they'll have another removal spell. Although Lava Coil on the elf suggests that they're kind of light on removal, right? If they had 1 mana removal, you think they would have used that. But okay. We'll just do this and say go. Falcons on, and go. Okay. So this feels like counterspell territory, right? Spell Pierce seems like a pretty reasonable thing for them to have. Maybe negate. Some sort of quench effect. I guess like Force Spike, like Jwari Disruption, is a possibility as well. I think I kind of like just jamming Kiora here, and then Oath. Or Mystic. I think it's Kiora. Kiora's not actually doing us all that much good, but she is likely to draw out a counterspell if one is there. So I think she's good bait. Consider in response, sure. Oh, she touches the board. Okay, so if we untap Nykthos, then we don't have any way to use it. So it doesn't really achieve all that much. But I kind of like Oath, untap, Caryatid, Mystic. Actually, I think I like doing it in the other order, so that they don't know when I'm going to hit off the Oath before they make their decision about whether to kill something. Nah, it doesn't really make a huge difference. And we'll just untap our Forest to be safe, to play around, I don't know. Looks like opponent has F6, actually. Boseiju or Old Growth Troll, basically. I don't see anything problematic with the opponent right now that Boseiju would hit, so I think we're fine just taking Old Growth Troll. And at long last, we will say go. Opt. Yeah, you got it. Sure. Okay, opponent, what do you got for me? They have 6 cards in the bin. They can cast Treasure Cruise here. But if we're able to resolve Karn, get Crypt, and crack it right away, I think we're pretty happy with that. All of the Storm Giants is on board. And the opponent says go. Okay. So Old Growth Troll is effectively free if it touches the board, because Nykthos' amount produced will go up by the same amount as we're spending on the Old Growth Troll. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Does that resolve? If it doesn't, then we can untap a land and just jam Karn and Crypt and be happy. Old Growth Troll is getting gusted. Is Old Growth Troll better than a random card? I think with Kiora in play, the answer is yes, because we'll draw a card off of it for sure. So I will put Old Growth Troll on top. Activate Kiora. And is there any reason to I always have to do the Nykthos math. Let's see. Our devotion is 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think there's a great reason. One way or the other. I guess we might as well. What have I done? It does just, like, save a mana, I guess. And, oh, this popped up. I think the play here is just going to be to get the crypt and deny them cruise. I am content with this. We are going to be able to have, like, the mother of all layers of the Hydra in the future with Nykthos. Ledger Shredder comes down. And nothing else. And it's time once again for the old growth troll. Touches the board. Let's draw off Kiora, see what we find. Another one, okay. Now I think is the time to minus Karn. If we play the second old growth troll, or anything for that matter, that does mean that the Ledger Shredder is going to get to connive, which does kind of stink. Great Henge also seems quite good. God Pharaoh's statue will make their life extraordinarily difficult. We're probably just supposed to do that. Okay. If I cast this old growth troll, then I get to draw another card, and I'll still have enough mana. So I guess we're doing that. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have played the gut. No. I was going to say this might let them draw into a counterspell. But if it did, then they'd still be able to find the or counter the God Pharaoh statue should they find it. This is like not. I agree. This is not great. I will admit. And we find another Nykthos. All right. What's the problem here? Oh, shoot. I have to... There we go. Not used to this UI. Okay, Disdainful Stroke makes some sense. So that's why all these things resolved, but nothing else did. Sure. I think we're still fine with this. We are basically empty-handed, but we have a pretty compelling board state. And the Lair of the Hydra is going to just get absolutely huge. Doesn't trample, though. Opponent connived away a land with their Ledger Shredder as well, so it's still just attacking for 1. This is disturbing. Oh no, they're attacking Karn. Sure. And we win. Yeah, sure. I don't feel like I played that game super well, but we just kind of dummied them. I think we played well around their counter magic in the early game, and in the late game, nothing really mattered. So that's the power of this deck. Okay, cool. 1-0, on to the next one. Okay, on the play with Ramp, Nissa, and Storm the Festival. Love it. Keep. Lair of the Hydra. And Llanowar Elves. Go. Lava Glide Pathway, do they get the Wolf Bird? They do. Fiery Impulse. So this is another blue-red. Alright. Well, if it was the right play on turn 1, doing it twice on turn 2 also has to be pretty good. Opt, you got it. A Mystic gets strangled. Okay, they've successfully kept us off of... Well, they've successfully kept us off everything for now. So... I guess we're going to attack with the lair, because it pushes the tiniest bit more damage. Right? Yeah. Go to combat. Swing for 2. Say go. Being able to kill 2 of our mana dorks is a pretty big deal, I'm not gonna lie. Although game 1, these 2 things are still fairly likely to be able to resolve. Wow. Okay. That's pretty good, though. Alright. Old growth troll it is. Oops. That's right. We can't use Nykthos to pay for that. So we will have 5 mana next turn, which will be enough for Nissa. Ledger Shredder is on board. And we're charting a course. Putting what into the bin? Putting an Arclight Phoenix into the bin. So it may be difficult to defend Nissa. Caryatid. Okay. So this will produce 3 at the cost of 2. Yeah. 3, 4. Still not good enough? God, that sucks. Okay. Just let me check that. I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah, still just 4. I definitely should have played that post-combat, but what are you going to do? Okay. Yeah, the draw we had was insane, but the opponent being able to kill 3 mana dorks was just kind of nutty. And it looks like we're going to get treasure cruised soon, too. Oh boy. We might, not only are we about to get treasure cruised, we might be galvanic iteration treasure cruised. Oh, we sure are. Wow. That's insane. Draw 6. How do you like them apples? And the Phoenix comes back. And are we taking 6? We are. No fear. We go to 14. We find another Nykthos. That is not inspiring. So now we have 4. So this nets 2. 4, 5, which gets us to Storm the Festival. I think it's probably time to just jam that. Alternatively, yeah, we can't Nissa and untap anything that's relevant. We can play this Nykthos. We can tap this Nykthos for green. Yeah, actually, this does work, right? Pretty sure. So this is 4 mana. We can play Nissa here. Untap. Play another Nykthos. Use that mana. Yeah, I think this works. We're gonna find out. Yeah. Oops. Okay, Nissa plus combat swing 4/7. Opponent goes to 7. We can play our second Nykthos. We'll keep the untapped one. Yeah, perfect. And this almost exactly works out. So opponent gets to connive here, but I think that that's probably fine. Yikes. Not the best Storm the Festival hit I've ever seen. I guess I want the land more than I want the elves, so... Yes, we will put those onto the battlefield. What? I want both of these. Okay. Okay. So Oath of Nissa finds... Oath of Nissa finds Boseiju, which hits the hull, and I actually kind of think it's where we want to be. Yeah, let's take that. And these can go on the bottom in any order, that's fine. We have 2 mana, so I think in their upkeep is when I want to destroy the hall. They have their own upkeep stop. Actually, I guess I just give them the opportunity to attack with the hull, right? And if they try to power it up, then that's when we can crack it in response. Because they might just think we're dead. They have 7 in the air. If they can remove the Caryatid and attack with the hull, they might think they have it. Spikefield Hazard going face. Okay. Shock. Galvanic Iteration, alright. And what are we copying? Is it another Treasure Cruise? Temporal Trespass is good enough, right? They get 2 extra turns, and we're dead. We don't have any way to block the flyer. Yeah. That sucks. Alright. Scoop that up then. That sucks. Even after that turn, it's still not good enough. Okay, so again, Skylashers seem pretty good against the Ledger Shredders. I think we'll bring that in. These things, for some reason, don't reach, so I'm less excited about the Voracious Hydras. And what's bad against them? Are we supposed to keep Pelucranos in against them? I feel like not. Because like they actively don't mind if their stuff dies. Ledger Shredder has pretty high toughness. I think I'm fine cutting Pelucranos again. Cavalier seems great. Karn seems good. Like big sorcery, probably not the way to go. Against the deck that's probably going to bring in negates. Disdainful Strokes, that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll run it back like this, I think. Keep, and we have ramp, and we have oath to find something big. We can definitely keep this. Skylasher is also pretty good against them. Start with lair. We'll start with elves and say go. Can you kill this one? Oh, I should remove my stop. Steam vents. Shocked in. And our elf is dead. That sounds about right. I think the plan... Oh, I should have... If I oath of Nissa into Lair of the Hydra, I'm going to be sad that I played my land first. Instead we find Boseiju and more mana dorks. That's probably just more mana dorks, right? Not finding anything big off that oath might be a problem. That is so much hate for Llanowar Elves. Our mana dorks never stood a chance. They've killed like 4 or 5 of our mana dorks in a game and a half. Alright. Llanowar Elves. Skylasher. And we need something big off the top. Thing in the Ice is a good one too. Maybe a good reason to have the Voracious Hydras. Yeah. Thing in the Ice is going to be a tough one to beat. Yeah, right now Nykthos is just neutral. No reason to attack with the lair. Yeah, alright. We are pro-blue. Might as well get in. Actually, does this target when it flips? No, it doesn't, so this will still get bounced. Jesus. Yeah. We have a hand of all lands now. There is one counter left on Thing in the Ice, and then they're going to have a 7-8 that we are just not super well equipped to deal with. However, we find Karn. This is probably going to flip and kill Karn, so we've got to make it count. It probably does just have to be Crypt, because if they have the thing, if they have Treasure Cruise, then we are going to fall way, way behind. Oh, wow. Okay. Spell Pierce is pretty good, too. So I suspect we are dead. But I think we had to try. I guess Storm the Festival would be a reasonable top deck. Alpine Moon. Okay. So this is going to neuter our Nykthos. Yeah, I don't think this works. But even if it did, we just drew more lands. So, like, if I were to replay this, I think the Alpine Moon still applies. I think we just have to get in with the lair and hope. Just attacking for 3, though. This is just so bad. But I don't think there's a choice. Oh, it's for 4. Never mind. I mathed wrong, but it's still not enough pressure, I don't think. I don't want to throw it in front of the lobster, though. Okay, so they just attack. That's a pretty good one. We can chump with that forever. It can't be countered. Okay. This could be worse. Oh, this has flash, too, actually. I should have just flashed it in, but I guess it doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter, actually. If they have, like, Strangle or something, we could have flashed it in during combat. Yeah. Mistake. Probably a pretty big one. If they have the Strangle, then that means that we... Or that... Well... Yeah, that would have killed it at instant speed either way. And we're just dead. So, this sucks. But, yeah, they kind of just... They had enough mana to kill off all of our early stuff and not let us get any traction in Game 1. And then Game 2, we just didn't have good enough tools to beat this thing in the ice. Maybe that was a mistake in sideboarding on my part, but whatever. On to the next one. Oh boy. We are on the draw against Gyruda. I have no idea if there's a playable Gyruda deck in Pioneer, but I suppose we're going to find out. We have Ramp, we have Storm the Festival, we have Karn. This hand is perfect. We have a little land light, but I think that's fine. I'm going to play Beseiju turn 1, which is interesting given that they're blue, but is also interesting because it probably means they're land light. We'll say go here. Yeah, they're just going to ramp into the Gyruda, and there might not be a whole lot we can do about it. Nykthos, yeah. So we can Wolfwillow Haven onto the Nykthos, and then play another Wolfwillow Haven onto another land, which is probably where we have to be. What can we even fetch with Karn here to disable this? Just give me a second to look at the sideboard. I think the answer is nothing. Yeah, the answer is indeed nothing. Okay, Wolfwillow Haven onto Nykthos. Wolfwillow Haven onto the other forest. And we are going to have a brawl here, ladies and gentlemen. Another Paradise Druid, sure. Mercifully, the opponent is missing on lands. It's kind of nice that they're attacking with the Paradise Druid, honestly. It exposes it to us. We have 2, 4, 5, 6 mana. If we Cavalier here, we can't untap the Nykthos, so it doesn't really matter. We can... Yeah, this does suck, actually. We don't have the mana to Storm without throwing away our Nykthos that has the Wolfwillow Haven on it. So I guess it does just have to be Cavalier. We can also Karn and fetch Treasure Vault, which doesn't really seem to achieve all that much. They're on 4 mana. They can't Gyruda yet. Let's just do this. Find Overgrown Tomb, which I guess is probably the take. Yeah. I'm not going to pay for it, and we're going to play our lair, and we're going to say go. And if they tap the Paradise Druid, then we can Karn and fetch the boat and do a lot of good stuff next turn. Opponent taps 4 for Altered Ego, which is going to copy Cavalier of Thorns, I suppose. Which is pretty good for them, honestly. So that'll fetch a land for them. Alright. So our devotion to green is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this nets 4 mana, tap this, pay 2. We have 2 3-mana left over after that. 7. Karn won't be able to play the boat. It's probably just Storm the Festival in that case. If they get to cast their Gyruda, then we are in pretty deep trouble. But again, I'm not even sure what to fetch with Karn to disable them. God Pharaoh statue, but not have enough to cast it. I think it's just Storm. Okay, we did find a Karn, and we found another Nykthos. I guess I want the land and the Karn. We have 3 mana with this Karn. We'll minus, and I guess see what we find. Probably just going for the boat here and trying to keep them off mana. And we'll say go. But I think they're about to get Gyruda, and we're not going to like the result. Ether Hub, indeed. Did they ever put Gyruda into their hand? I guess not. So they can't Gyruda us yet. The last time I played Gyruda against Gyruda was probably back pre-companion rule change. Okay, yeah, so now Garuda's in their hand. They have 3 mana available, but next turn they will be able to play it. Caryatid, okay, so that's still 6 mana even if we kill the Paradise Druid. So that's kind of sad. Tap, I guess. We find Kiora. So we can probably do some pretty messed up stuff this turn. And now the question is what? I think we start with a minus on Karn. Not interested, of course, in the Immortal Sun. We can Meteor Golem away their Cavalier of Thorns. If we do that, then they will get back a Gyruda. Yeah, too much good stuff. Then I guess it's just God Pharaoh statue. Try to tax them out of being able to play Gyruda. Okay. Kiora. And Nykthos can add mana. Kiora untaps it. Let's tap it again. We have 14 mana. Play the boat. Targeting Druid. Play God Pharaoh statue. And I suppose play Karn. Keep this Karn. Minus. And get probably Meteor Golem. With the intention of killing the Cavalier and using Tormod's Crypt next turn. Yeah. Alright, your go, opponent. Okay, looks like we've successfully held them off for another turn. But all these hexproof mana dorks are a significant problem. Alright. Find our own Caryatid. I guess minus get Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, just do this. I don't think it matters too much. Okay. Cast Tormod's Crypt. Crack Tormod's Crypt. Meteor Golem. Targeting the only legal target. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's kind of cool. Actually, I wonder how that would have worked. I guess they couldn't ever do that. I guess because it was an altered ego. I thought they would be able to exile and get a card back, but maybe that's not true. This cruise for X equals 3? Yeah. All right. Let's do it. And we'll untap Nykthos, and we'll activate... We have 9 mana, we'll activate Lair. And I think that's it, and we're also going to attack with the elves. Combat. Swing. All right. I have burned so much time trying to figure this out. I am sorry that I've been so slow. This has probably been very boring, but... Oh, we won? Nice. I think it was really important to think all that through. I think most other just randomly slamming things lines probably end up losing us that game pretty badly. We probably... I think Poly K is once again pretty bad. I think I do want the Voracious Hydras to punish some of their mana dorks. And otherwise, I think we just want to make our constructive game plan better. They may bring in some manner of counterspells. They are a blue deck after all. I think that means Storm the Festival gets a little bit worse. And I think that's probably... Well, actually, Skylasher also seems pretty good with that in mind. It'll be able to get through a large board of theirs. We trim 1 Kiora. These are the trims of someone who doesn't know exactly what they're doing. That said, these don't seem super good, do they? Like, yeah, they push through 2 damage, but I think I want to be doing more with my mana. Alright, let's submit this, and let's start to play pretty quickly. The one lander has a decent chance of finding us another land, so we'll keep this. Breeding Pool tapped is fine. We find another land. That's great. Opponent plays Paradise Druid, sure. Are we supposed to get the Old Growth Troll down, or are we just supposed to play a ton of mana? I think I like getting the Old Growth Troll down, frankly. just start attacking. It's weird not to playing our mana creatures early, though. I want to play Wolfwillow Haven when I can target an untapped land. So that would be... Yeah, I think it's Old Growth Troll here. And next turn we'll be able to do a lot more. Blast Zone is a good one. They have their own Wolfwillow Haven. And a Prosperous Innkeeper. Yeah, this feels like they're going to Gyruda us, and there's not a whole lot we can do. Sure. Combat. Swing with the troll. They just take it. Let's play Wolfwillow Haven. And... Elvish Mystic. And... Caryatid. And say go. And they have a ton of mana. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So still not enough yet to buy Gyruda and play it in the same turn, but definitely enough to cast one from hand. Wolfwillow Haven is in play. They are 2 cards in hand. They do buy Gyruda, so Gyruda will come next turn. We find more land. Okay. Well, let's start with Oath of Nissa. We find Karn and Nykthos. I think Karn is the way to go. Unfortunately, not a whole lot we can do with it. We just need to be super aggressive and hope that they whiff on their Gyruda hits. What are we getting? Probably just Meteor Golem, like we hope they whiff and then clean up the board after that. We can also Great Henge, but we don't have anything to capitalize on that. We can also just get the boat, start beating down in the air. That's probably a little better. We'll say go. Maybe I should have attacked with the mana dorks, but I don't think it makes that big a difference. Here's Gyruda. And... what did they hit? Spark Double. Yeah, so we run it back. And we hit... Undercover Operative. Well, we hit a bunch of stuff. And we hit... Vizier of Many Faces. Yeah. And Undercover Operative, yeah. And again. Yeah, and this is the thing that we couldn't stop, or we barely stopped last game. And now everything has like a shield counter on it too. I think that's what these are. And everything gets haste, yeah. So they hit everything in exactly the right order. Good stuff, opponent. Fun and interactive game of Magic there. Still think the boarding was fine. Yep. On the play, maybe I want this Storm the Festival. They do seem pretty all in. And the Voracious Hydras don't actually seem to hit all that much, although they are big beaters that might be able to push through the last few points of damage. But I think I still want this. I just want to get my game plan done as quickly as possible before they win the late game. We'll play first. On the play, we have a pretty good opening hand. We have Nissa, so I think I do want to get Nissa down before the Old Growth Troll. Or, like, I want to get the Mana Rocks down before the Old Growth Troll. That's pretty good. So we can... Wolfwillow Haven targeting this land. Tap. Tap. And Lanorels. I guess I missed a point of damage. Yeah, I did miss a point of damage. I should have just attacked with that Llanowar Elf instead of using the extra... Instead of getting the extra mana off the Wolfwillow Haven. I have a Caryatid, which is going to be a decent blocker. But here's Nissa. This will tap for 3, so we can afford to waste this mana. No, we might as well just play the Kiora here. We can minus on this forest, go to combat, attack with the forest. They take 3, and now we can play the Old Growth Troll. And I was going to say we're empty-handed, but in fact we're not, because we get to draw off the Kiora, so that was a pretty important sequencing play. Opponent plays Paradise Druid, and no land. We love that. Untap. Actually, might as well... Yeah. Okay, Storm the Festival hitting... Not much, honestly. I guess I want Oath and a Forest. Find Old Growth Troll, which will let us draw off Kiora, so I think that's the keep. Combat. Swing, swing, swing. Opponent goes to 7. Get the Old Growth Troll down. Draw off Kiora. Find Overgrown Tomb. Sure. And we'll play this tapped because we want all our mana, and the opponent scoops them up. Yeah. Nissa turn 3 Nissa turns out to be pretty damn good on the play. In Pioneer, just as she was in Historic and in Standard. 2-1, on to the next one. Okay, on the play with an okay opening hand. Not a whole lot of ramp. I don't know. Any mana dork makes this hand pretty good. I think we just keep this. I will be sad if we don't, but there's just so much beef here. All we need is to draw like a Llanowar Elves or a Sylvan Caryatid or whatever. The ramp half of our deck is the easier part to find. This is the stuff, like the gas is the harder stuff. But there's definitely the chance that this hand just doesn't do anything until turn 5 or turn 4, and it's too late. Yeah, that is technically ramp. It's true. Opponent plays Valakut Stoneforge. So this is some sort of combo deck. I am scared. Hold me, please. Runaway Steamkin is a good one. Our turn, we find Poly K. Poly K actually does feel pretty good here. Yeah, Poly K feels great, actually. So let's play Beseju, play Kiora, but won't actually do anything with her. So this looks like just straight mono red, but like big red, doing big mana things. This is not like a super aggressive version. Bergie, oh boy. Bergie is terrifying. So this is like maybe a Grinning Ignus deck. Ignus was just banned earlier today. Interesting. We have some choices here. Beseju nets produces 1 mana. It's not good enough. We can either Cavalier of Thorns or Polyk. Both of them draw cards off of Kiora. We could also Karn. What do we get off Karn if we take it? I feel like Damping Sphere is actually pretty good. Because every time, like, whatever they're doing, whatever they're casting, the Damping Sphere is going to make things cost more each time. Which might throw off their math. So let's just ramp, I think, in that case. Yeah, okay, almost missed. We got our land in play, though, and we're going to say go. And next turn, we can Karn, fetch Damping Sphere, and hopefully that's good enough to turn off whatever they're doing. Also, the option to play Pelucranos and just make it monstrous. But these things have pretty big butts. I'm a little concerned about that. Yeah, Ignus. So I don't know if they have the combo here. They might. Yeah, so they pay 1 to play it to the battlefield over and over again. So they have infinite mana. Yeah. We were 1 turn too slow on the Karn fetching the Damping Sphere. So they have infinite mana. The question is what, if anything, can they do with it? It might just be like a giant Banefire to face. Let me just make sure that Damping Sphere does apply to non-creature spells. While my opponent is over there masturbating. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell the player has cast that turn. Yeah, so you can feel free to put the video on 2x speed here. I am going to make them show me what their game plan is, although it does seem likely that it's Banefire. Terror of the Peaks. Okay. Oh, Terror of the Peaks, and then replay the Ignus over and over again, right? This is the creature's power, and the Ignus has 2 power. Okay, so yeah. Sure, that's good enough for me. We'll scoop this up. So again, Voracious Hydra seems pretty good. I want all the Karns because I think Damping Sphere just turns off their deck completely. Want the big stuff. Probably Polyk seems slow. Polyk has seemed pretty awful. Maybe I'm just not using him correctly. And 1 more cut. Probably a Storm of the Festival. On the play, we have no ramp, but we do have Oath of Nissa. We will keep this. And The game did say that my opponent disconnected. This is the first time that's ever happened to me playing Moto. I have no idea how easy it is for the opponent to come back after that. I myself have never been disconnected from Moto. I assume you just reopen the client and it puts you back into your game. But it is ancient software, so God knows what will happen. And I will cut everything from here until the opponent comes back. Okay, opponent came back. They kept a 6-card hand. And we are off to the races. Oath of Nissa. Finds... I'll take Caryatid. And say go. Mountain. Go. Sure. Find Llanowar Elves just in time. It's just the Caryatid, I'm sure. They have a lot of ways to kill an elf. Yep. Land go. Feels pretty good to me. I don't think our life total matters a whole lot here. Play Nykthos. If they have Alpine Moon, then this is sad. Oh, crap. Now I can't play both Old Growth Troll and Llanowar Elves, right? No, this still works. It's just awkward. Yeah, no, it doesn't work, actually. Shit, that was a misplay. Oh, no, wait. This does still barely work? Yeah. Okay, I figured it out. Scavenger Grounds, sure. They have the Ignus. Generator Servant. Okay. We found more land. This could definitely hurt. I think do we attack with the elves? I think so. I think if they want to trade this, I think we're okay with that. This doesn't trample after all. I think we just want to get them dead before they can get their combo off. Combat. Swing with everything. Well, it takes it all, goes to 9. Nykthos. Yeah. So we can kill that with Boseiju, which is pretty important. Opponent's deck seems extraordinarily difficult to play perfectly. And then again, so is mine. Chandra's good. Chandra hits the Old Growth Troll. Oh. Okay. I didn't know why it wasn't letting me attach it to the land. Okay. So Chandra is down to 1. We're probably supposed to send Lair and Elves at Chandra. How big Lair of the Hydra can we make? Because if we can just make it lethal, then we know the elves will be enough to kill. You know, this is effectively the same. gives us 7 mana. 8, 9. Not quite enough, right? Not quite enough to force them to chump to defend Chandra, but enough to kill, to force them to block something. Oh no, what am I saying? Of course this is enough. Yeah, okay. I'm dumb. Don't mind me. Does mean that we won't be able to besiege away the Nykthos. Actually, no, it's not enough. Never mind. I'm dumb. As I said. Okay. Do we want to attack out at Chandra, or do we want to force them to chump here? I think this, the 8/8 attacks face, and this attacks Chandra. So to save Chandra, they have to go to 1. Chandra's dead. Okay. Okay, can they kill me from here? We have a lot of lethal attackers on the board. And not a whole lot of devotion. Hazoret's Monument. Ignus, yeah. Is this going to be enough? They're going to run out of red mana, right? Yeah, okay, cool. I don't think I played that perfectly either, to be perfectly honest with you. But turned out to be good enough. Does that change my sideboard plan at all? I think the answer is no. I really do want to get Karn Damping Sphere. I think that just ends the game. But... okay. Well, ask and you shall receive. We have Mana Dork, Karn. So we keep this. A lot of Wolfwillow Haven. Generator Servant, yep. Old Growth Troll is good, but I think I just want to get as much mana in play as possible so I get Karn Damping Sphere, and they might have a very hard time dealing with that. So, Nykthos, Wolfwillow Haven. Oops, no, don't do that. Wolfwillow Haven on Nykthos, paying like this. Wolfwillow Haven on this. Tapping this. And your go. Now we have 5, 6 mana next turn, which is enough for Karn plus Damping Sphere, and we'll see if they can deal with that. Alright, that's pretty good. Okay. So we can... land... How much mana is this? This is the hardest part of playing the deck. We can play Old Growth Troll, which isn't going to be enough to... which isn't going to leave enough mana left over to tap the Nykthos, so it's not neutral. I am deeply concerned that we're just dead next turn. If I do this... gives me 4 mana, which lets me play Karn. But I think I just want to get Old Growth Troll down. And yeah, say go. And if we get to untap from here, I'm pretty happy. But I'm not sure we will get to. Just plain Terror of the Peaks. Okay. We do get to untap. Okay. What did I do? Pay 2. Pay 2. 7 mana. Karn. Karn minus. Actually, we have 3 6 mana. We don't even need to Damping Sphere. We can God Pharaoh statue here. Is that better? They're going to attack the Karn with Terror next turn, so we're only going to get one of them. I think the Damping Sphere is the harder thing for them to deal with. Let's take that. Combat. I'll swing with the Troll. They take it. Go to 16, and it's your go, opponent. That'll kill the Elvish Mystic. Karn is dead. We find Cavalier Thorns, which is honestly outstanding. 2, 4, 6 with enough mana to cast it as well. Okay. First things first, combat. Swing. Goes to 12. Oh, I don't have enough if I do that? I really don't? Why is this only giving me... Sorry, I may need to fast forward through this. Add mana. Pay 2. Why is this only giving me... Oh, because of my Damping Sphere. I'm an idiot. Okay. I screwed myself. Okay. Then I guess I have to do this. Alright, that was bad. That was really bad. Alright. Your go. That's really dumb. Turns out reading how your cards work explains how your cards work. I have no idea how many times they're going to be able to recast this. The math is just beyond me. Another Terror of the Peaks. That is scary. Okay, Cavalier's dead. What do we get back? Probably another Karn, I guess. If I get another Karn, what do I do with it? Hmm. I feel like it's just not good enough. I'm not gonna have enough mana. Yeah, I think we're gonna decline. I think we need to do better. Yeah, this Damping Sphere did not turn out to be as good against them as I thought it was going to be. They were still able to generate enough mana. Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. I misplayed this game pretty badly, I think. Can we still somehow get there? Opponent's attacking for 10 in the air next turn. We know they have a Grinning Ignus in hand, so effectively they're going to be able to do 12 next turn. Unblockable. And we have 2, 4, 5 on the lair, which isn't going to be good enough either. Yeah. I think we're just dead, unfortunately. We have to try something, but... Yeah, this is just over, unfortunately. Like, I'm not even gonna bother. We'll just scoop this up. Good game, opponent. That... Hate how I played that game. Feels terrible. Okay, 2 and 2. On to the next one. Okay, on the play with ramp and literally nothing else. I think we mull this. This is better. Double Oath can find us our action. We have Llanowar Elves on 1. This is pretty great. We'll keep this. And I think the putback... The putback is probably one of the oaths. And then next turn, like turn 2 will be Caryatid plus Oath. Izzet again? And Llanowar Elves is dead again. Okay, okay. That sucks. In that case, the play is probably just play our hexproof mana dork. Strategic planning. Yeah, we might just be getting Phoenix to death here. We find Karn. We find Karn, but we don't have the mana to cast it. Let's start with an Oath of Nissa, see if we can hit our land drop. We can. Do we want the Lair of the Hydra? I don't think so. I think we just... Well, if we take the forest, then it's better if we draw actual literal Nissa, right? I think I want the Lair. Say go. There's Ledger Shredder. Fiery Impulse, yeah. So we faced Izzet total of 3 times out of 5 in this league. Of course, we'd rather Nissa punishes me for taking the forest, or for not taking the forest. Yeah, we've played against Izzet 3 times out of 5 so far, and that seems to make mana dorky plans pretty terrible. Opponent discarded Saheeli as well. We can just Karn minus and find Treasure Vault. That's pretty conservative. But it does guarantee Cavalier next turn, which they might have a very hard time dealing with. And it guarantees Nissa as well, of course. Yeah, the alternative is Crypt. If they... We can Crypt now and take them off of, what's it called? Treasure Cruise. But I think I want my Cavalier. Reasonable chance that Karn is going to die here from an attack from the Ledger Shredder, but we're going to get to Cavalier next turn. Yep. So Karn's going to die. I think we have to play Cavalier instead of Nissa, just because, well, A, they could have Spell Pierce, and B, Cavalier will be able to protect Nissa the following turn. We draw Storm the Festival, which is uncastable at the moment. So I don't think there's anything for it but to slam Cav here. We find Nykthos, that's pretty great. Is that better than a forest with Nissa? It's tough, actually. Our devotion's not super high. If the Cavalier goes away, that is. But I think this is okay. I think we'll take the Nykthos and say go. Saheeli's good. Yeah, Saheeli's really, really good. Ledger Shredder's going to grow, but it's not going to be able to attack through this Cavalier yet. Opponent floats a blue and casts Treasure Cruise. Yeah. That's really, really good. We get to untap, and oh boy. Okay. So this is complicated. So we can play Nissa, untap a forest. We'll have 4 mana plus a Nykthos. The Nykthos will create a shitload. We'll be able to Kiora, minus the Kiora, play Storm the Festival, and possibly play another Storm the Festival, depending on how good my math is. Alright, boys, we're off to the races. Oh, my math is terrible, actually, as it turns out. But I think this is still okay. How about... what if we do it this way? 5. That's enough for Nissa. Nissa plus. We have a bunch of mana. Actually, no, don't do that. Like this. Play Kiora this way. You get to connive, you got it. Kiora touches the board. We have no floating mana, so we have the opportunity to attack with the forest if we want to, but I don't think there's a great reason to do that. Just dies to the Ledger Shredder. So we'll minus on Nykthos. Activate Nykthos. Cast Storm. Old Growth Troll is going to trigger. We could play. If we do this, we have 2, 4, 6, 8 mana, which is not enough to recast the Storm, so I guess we're just getting Old Growth Troll and another forest. Could even lair as well. We already have a lair. Okay, let's just do this. So Kiora triggers. We draw another forest, which we can play. We have 6, 8 mana available here, and no way to do anything with it, unfortunately. So I guess it's your go, opponent. Not a bad turn, all things considered. We did get a little unlucky, I think, with the Storm the Festival hit. But, yeah, all told, not too bad. If the Cavalier dies, we get to put the Storm the Festival back on top. Or even put Karn back on top. I think all of the above are pretty good. Another Treasure Cruise, yep. Opponent's going to go super wide. We are going to go super big. Unfortunately, most of our stuff doesn't trample. And that Ledger Shredder is enormous. Wow, Otawara is a good one. That's annoying. So now Nissa's dead, I assume. Yep. That's a pretty good turn. Man, Otawara just outstanding. Most of these blue-red decks don't have great answers to Cavalier, but that was certainly a good one. All right. I guess this is basically free. Yeah. Ledger Shredder connives. I'm not sure we can beat this. Triggers. Whiff on the Cavalier. Might storm the festival, though. All right. So 2... a lot. The answer is a lot. We might even be able to double cast the storm, depending on what we hit. Okay. Karn seems important. And Nykthos just produces a ton of mana to be able to run it back. Okay. Keep the untapped one. Okay, so... we have 12, 13, 14, 15 mana. So I guess let's run back the Storm the Festival first. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, that was bad. Because if we hit the other Karn. Shit. Okay, well, we get to do this again, I suppose. Keep this Nykthos. Now I've learned my lesson. We'll minus the Karn now, I guess. And what to do? Oh, this is where we have the... Okay. Yeah, I think this is where we have the combo. I think this is where we have the, Pestilent Cauldron, Chain Veil, Nykthos, and Kiora combo. But they could have forced me to do it, and they didn't even know I had it. Okay. I guess they did know I had it. So I wasn't impressed with Skylasher in the first 2 times we played Izzet. I do think I want these Voracious Hydras just as answers to a Ledger Shredder. Although they don't reach, again, which really sucks. Poly K seems pretty bad. The Saheeli's a problem. We don't have a great answer to that, unfortunately. And the servo tokens aren't blues. The Skylasher doesn't help there. So we're probably just hoping to do our thing again before they get to do theirs. And our thing is probably just... I guess against the deck that's going to be bringing in, like, Disdainful Strokes and Negates, maybe I don't want the Storms. But it's not that bad because they have Flashback. And these seem pretty mopey, given their propensity to kill my stuff. But maybe that's just the price of admission. Maybe that's just what we have to do. We have to allow that. Okay. On the draw, we have Ramp, we have Creature, we have Old Growth Troll. So this at least functions. Although, again, I don't really expect my Llanowar Elves to win. Or to live. Opponent does play Steam Vents untapped. I don't think we can realistically play around their burn spell, though. It's also possible they just have Consider and want to play it. But I think that the Llanowar Elf is just dead on arrival. He sure is. Fiery Impulse comes down. Ledger Shredder it is. It's probably just Wolfwillow Haven, I guess. If we play the Llanowar Elves, then if they have another kill spell, it lets them connive with Ledger Shredder that much easier. It's not like we have use for the other mana anyway. Given that we have Old Growth Troll, do I want to put this on the Forest or the Lair? I think we just put it on the Forest. Yeah, Ledger Shredder gets in for 1. That's encouraging. It does strongly suggest Counterspell to me. So if we play... We have 4 mana. If we play the Karn, it probably just dies on the spot. We can Voracious Hydra, which would, for X equals 2, open itself up to Disdainful Stroke and not kill the Ledger Shredder yet. So probably the best way to play around Disdainful Stroke Negate is just Old Growth Troll Llanowar Elves. And we'll do it this way first to play around Force Spike as best we can. Okay, so they will get to connive with Ledger Shredder here, but I think that's okay. When it pitches a Saheeli, we're going to have quite a bit of mana next turn. My opponent plays Alpine Moon. Okay. Yeah, that's not great. I assume they name Nykthos here. They sure do. Get in the air for 3. Okay, I don't know what happened there. So opponent's tapped out. We can play Nykthos. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana. So Voracious Hydra for X equals 4. Doesn't really achieve a whole lot. I mean, it's just a super big boy that they might have a hard time dealing with. I think I like it. It doesn't, like, directly deal with Ledger Shredder because we can't fight it and kill it, but it doesn't let them connive, and it puts a ton of pressure on them, especially next turn when we activate Lair. I think I like it. 2. Yeah. So how do you like 8/9's blue-red opponent? And if they play Otawara, then we just get to replay the Voracious Hydra next turn and actually hopefully kill the Ledger Shredder. Opt. Yep. Consider. Okay. So Ledger Shredder is going to connive, but the question is, does it have to stay home on defense? It certainly does. Okay, so suppose we power up Lair of the Hydra here. What can we do with that? It'll be a 1, it'll be 2, 4, it'll be a 4/4. We'll be attacking with 2 4/4s and an 8/9. So that is 16 damage. 17 with the Llanowar Elf. So they can eat one of the Lair or the Old Growth Troll and still take a boatload. And the Ledger Shredder won't die. So that's not ideal. But I think it's still going to be very difficult for them to deal with that. So I think this is acceptable. If I use the Llanowar Elves, it's the 5/5 actually, and they won't be able to use the Ledger Shredder to kill this. Sure, I buy it. Combat. Swing. Opponent considers. And opts. Okay, so Ledger Shredder is going to be able to eat the Lair, but they'll take 12 in the process. Goes to 2. Crackling Drake is good, but not good enough, I don't think. Because that Voracious Hydra has Trample. So if we swing out, block, block, this gets through for 4. So they need to put the Ledger Shredder in front of the Hydra. Still gets through for 1 in that case. They block here. They need to put... I think they're dead on board. This tramples. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so 3 and 2. The Izzet matchup does seem pretty difficult with the number of like Flame Blast Bolt, Spike Field Hazards, Fiery Impulse is all that in the meta, so if that takes over a little bit, then maybe mono green gets a little bit worse. But all told, I mean, we still were 2-1 against it, and overall, I think we could have done a lot better if I had played better. So 3-2, I'm happy with this result. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. The comments guide me, they help me make my decisions. And let me know what you think of me continuing to play through the rest of the Pioneer decks in the format, or if you'd rather see me play other arena stuff instead. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.